Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of season 2. We are back with a really cool topic today.
Hey guys! Yes, today's topic is a really great one and we can't wait to jump into it. But first things first, as usual, let's jump into what we are drinking today. Today, Amber,
It's a wild one.
We are being wild. I'm enjoying a bottle of Aquile natural spring sparkling water, 500 ml. It is bottled at the source according to the bottle at the Silverstream Farm in the Kranskop, KwaZulu-Natal. What are you drinking?
Amazing. I'm having a nice warm cup of rooibos tea with some honey. And it's very different to our usual situation, but today it's just a nice way to change it up. We're having tea and water today. And just before we jump in, I think it would be weird for us to record and not bring up the fact that we are sitting in Cape Town, where the fires in Table Mountain National Park have been going since Sunday. And coincidentally, our guest today is one of the amazing volunteers helping out during this time. So warm welcome to you, Dr. Layla. And if you don't know her yet, she is a doctor and runs the Medstagram, which is essentially an IG page dedicated to educating people about different health issues and her journey as a medical professional. So welcome to you, Layla.
Welcome.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you for being our guest, our second official guest on our podcast. Could you just give us a little bit of info on how the volunteer experience has been for you this week?
It's actually been really amazing. So it's really wonderful to have seen so many people in Cape Town and not just in Cape Town, but in different provinces just come out and be like, hey, I'm here to help. We have these things to donate. And just that spirit of Ubuntu and that togetherness where everybody's pitching in has been so wonderful. I went to the main station for Gift of the Givers in Pinelands at the old Mutual buildings. And just to see everybody just coming in, donating their things, trying to make packs for all of the UCT students. It's honestly just blown me away that so many people are just ready to give some of their time and some of their money and some of the things that they have in their homes just to help the firefighters and the students and everybody just pitching in. It's amazing.
That's awesome. We should really all do our bit where we can, and we will of course just keep sharing ways that other people can help out on our social media channels. So, Dr. Layla or Dr. Layla, whatever you like to be called.
Please just call me Layla. So, one thing, right?
To kick us off, please do tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so the question of tell us about yourself and what do you do, it always weirds me out a little bit because
And your mind always goes blank.
I'm a person. Because I'm more than my profession. But if people see you, they sort of attach your identity to your big life role, which is your work. So people are like, Layla, doctor. And I'm just yes, that is a thing that takes up a lot of my time, but it's not all I am. And unfortunately, with brown people, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, and then there's one other thing that I can never remember, if you're one of the top 3, then you've made it in life.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that's fair. So I think that aspect of being a doctor has always weirded me out. But I'm obviously a doctor, and within the realm of medicine, my little bubble and the place that I hold dear is health promotion, which is basically what my Instagram page is about. Patient advocacy, which is you are my patient and I'm giving you the information for you to make your own decisions. And if your decisions and if your rights are being violated, I am here as a medical professional to fight for you, to get your investigations, to get to see a different specialist, a different doctor, allied health. That's my role. And then my other big passion is, which is something that a lot of people associate with me, is women's health. So that's my little Venn diagram and me in the middle. I also a big stan of mental health. I'm also a Muslim, so it's Ramadan now. So I've been doing a lot of Ramadan content and things that break your fast, that don't break your fast, and little things that I've been doing in between. And then during my time off, I've also been at the beach. So a lot of my Instagram content is me at the beach at sunrise and at sunset, and these are the beaches that we have in Cape Town.
That's mental health.
That's mental health. Yeah. Self-care.
Yeah. So that's basically me and what I do.
And that sounds great. And I must say yours is one of my favorite Instagram accounts to follow because I'm always learning something new and something practical that I can apply to my life. And was that your kind of thought process behind your Instagram, or what made you decide to, share your knowledge and experience through your account?
So when I started it, it was half as a photo dump space where I could be these are all the cool doctor things that I do. And then the other half of it was, this is like my journey, and it would be really nice if other people who are on the same journey as me, maybe further ahead or were just starting out in medicine, if they were able to see me as like sort of this resource where they could be like, I'm unsure about this thing, or here's some advice for you to take into your future. Or when you're an intern or a comserve, maybe you should look into this after if you want to get out of medicine, or maybe if you want to stay in medicine, look at these things. And like that was like the space that I tried to create. Also, as doctors, we encounter a lot of really strange situations, and I just wanted to know from other doctors, like, is this normal? or to just like find friends who are like on call at the same time as me. So I have a friend, Annalisa. She always posts like this, there's like question things on Instagram. She always posts like on call boys roll call. So everybody who's on call will like literally be like, I'm on call, I'm on call, I'm on call. And then we know who to interact with at night. So then you're just like, I don't really know what's going on. Like, can I have some help? Like, we're just like venting. So I have like this little community on my Instagram account where we can just like share and vent and like just talk about things. And it's really, really nice. I also wanted to share the light parts of medicine. It's not this like really scary, daunting thing. I also wanted to show like the funny part. I like to present an honest representation of what medicine is. I also try to show you as like there's mental health repercussions in our job.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's dangerous. Patients can be dangerous. The equipment that you use can be dangerous. Being open and like just being honest about like the things that we face can help, especially like high school students who are like, I want to become a doctor. And they can look at my Instagram and be like, I didn't know that this was part of like being a doctor. So like it's just like this really nice community.
I mean, I think that's really amazing. And I think it's so great how Instagram and Facebook and social media in general has opened up this way of actually knowing that you are not alone as like a med student or as a doctor, everything. And I think that the way that you share your knowledge on the platform for free is just incredible. And answering the questions, especially your IG lives where women may not have had access to medical advice in any other instance, I think it's just incredible. So, could you tell us a bit more about how you decide on which topics to cover and your talking points for your Instagram lives and everything you put on social media?
So for me, it's always like a balance between like what do the people who follow me want to see and what do I think is important for me as a doctor. So if we talk about my most recent Instagram live, so like Ramadan and nutrition. So I have a lot of like allied health people who follow me. So I followed Sophia. And like we started chatting and I'm like, hey, you're Muslim and a dietitian. I'm Muslim and a doctor. Let's do an Instagram live on nutrition in Ramadan. And we had such great feedback, like questions and people interacting on the live. It was so great because people were asking like these really simple questions that had really simple answers, but were just too afraid to ask them. Or like had a few complex questions. And the way I angle my posts is always around some useful information. So can somebody read this or view this and gain something from it? So I always try to keep it like in a positive. So even if I'm speaking about something that's quite serious, I try to break it down into a I care about you. Like this is the way I would like information to be given to me. The way I think of like information as a whole is like I need to get something back. And it doesn't have to be like very specific, but I just have to feel good about myself. I don't have to feel like it's taken away from me.
Yeah, I agree. And you kind of want to talk about things that women are supposedly not supposed to talk about, especially like your IG live, where you spoke in depth about menstruation and, using a menstrual cup. A couple of years ago, it would have been something you felt shy about or something you couldn't really speak about. And like just jumping out to the next one, what are your thoughts around period poverty, for example?
So period poverty is obviously girls who are unable to like just participate in their normal lives because of having a period. And like having a period isn't a bad thing. It's a physiological thing that happens to all women or women with uteruses. In South Africa, we have great clinicians in our healthcare system. They are really well read, very skilled, doing research, trying to find the best medical management for patients, like upskilling in surgery. Like we really have some of the best of the best. But our problem with women in general is women's issues aren't taken as seriously as other conditions. Like
that's true.
Obstetrics and gynecology is also a very expensive discipline to go into. their malpractice fees, I think, are close to R1 million a year. So if you're working in that field, you have to be very, very passionate and very, very dedicated. So obstetricians and gynecologists are becoming a little bit more scarce. Trying to find a obstetrician or gynecologist who meets like your specifications. Even as a doctor, like there are specific things that I want to see in a gynecologist. So I don't mind if my gynecologist is male or female, but I do want them to be a person of color who has a certain amount of degrees and has a complication rate that is low. These are the things that I look for.
How do you look for that? How do you look for, like, if I'm looking for a gynecologist or like someone in that field, how do I look for the complication rate? Or if they are a person of color, I suppose you can just like Google image search them, but how do you look for things like a complication rate?
You ask. No doctor isn't allowed to give you that information. You
I
ask.
had no idea that you could do that.
I had no idea also.
So especially like surgeons, I think most doctors have to keep a tally of complications for their practice, for their hospital, for their department. They have to keep a log. So if you want to find that out, you can ask.
And you literally just like, you call them up and you be like, what's your complication?
If they don't want to give it to you, then it's either there's some like a legal issue with giving you the information, which is like sometimes understandable. If they're point blank saying no, then like that for me is always like a little bit of a red flag. Or if they're telling you like, I don't know, that for me is also just like a little bit. Or if they're not sure, like that is also a very relevant answer. Like some practices are quite new. Sometimes the secretaries don't know. But if it's something that's important to you, like your first time going to a gynae or like going for an operation, speaking to your doctor and to the anaesthetist and just getting to know the team will always make you feel a lot more comfortable. If you want to know anything about a doctor, just ask. If you want to know if their qualifications are like legit, on the HPCSA, there are so many ways that you are entitled to information. Patients have so many rights, but obviously like those things aren't always communicated really well.
These are such great tips, and we'll definitely share all of this advice and these tips on our social media platforms. But just a question quickly, what would you say are the top issues that women are facing right now with regards to their health?
So my answer to questions like this is always the access to factual education in your own language.
Oh, that's true.
So what I mean by that is you can be presented the best information, but if the information isn't broken down in a way that you can understand it and you can receive it, and it isn't contextually sound like it applies to you in your environment, it's going to be lost on you. For me, it's just like education in your language, because a big thing that doctors do that really, really upsets me is when they see a patient and they don't speak the same language as the patient. It's like they write down like poor historian or language barrier. But we live in an African country.
Yeah.
It's on you to know an Nguni language. Make that effort.
The
Show
onus
that
is
you
on
care,
you,
because
yeah.
it's all part of being a good doctor. One of the other things that like a lot of patients feel is like there's just a big fear of being judged. And like doctors really don't judge. We know that your hair grows on your toes. We know that sometimes your body smells weird. I'm telling you, we've seen it before. But people still feel like they're going to be judged. Especially when it comes to like the younger girls coming with like sexual health issues, like with an STI or if they're pregnant. They just feel like they're being judged.
And Layla, I think you've given us so much to think about just in terms of everything and just rethinking our attitude when we see like medical professionals, because I am guilty of being so shy, or when they explain something to me and I don't get it, I don't ask them to break it down because I don't want to seem stupid or like I'm wasting the doctor's time, or, you know, it's just, I know it seems silly, but, you know, if you're not in the medical field, we do get nervous around people in white coats.
Well, editing Kelly here. I'm just jumping in here to say that this is where we're ending this part of the interview. This chat was so filled with knowledge and tips from Dr. Layla that we couldn't fit it all into one episode. So let's call this Health Talk with Dr. Layla Part 1. Part 2 is out already as well, so you can jump straight into that if you have the time, or download it if you're keen to listen a bit later. So chat in the next one.